This is WTVY News 4 at 5.
Alabama's legislative session kicked off with bills and lots of them. Good afternoon, I'm Natasha Chugtai. Thanks for joining us for News 4 at 5. More than 100 bills were introduced on the first day of the Alabama legislative session. The Senate met for an hour and the House for about 20 minutes. Some of the proposals introduced today include Medicaid reform, charter school creation, and prison reform. Both chambers recessed early so lawmakers would have time to file bills ahead of the governor's State of the State address. That's at 6:30 tonight. Lawmakers will begin discussing bills tomorrow afternoon. The full House and Senate will reconvene on Thursday. Florida Governor Rick Scott gave his State of the State address this morning. He's pushing for more tax cuts, increased school funding, and lower state university tuition. Scott urged legislators to find a way to make education more affordable. He called for the passage of the college affordability bill that holds the line on graduate school tuition.
It's like any business, we should expect education to become more affordable every year, not more expensive. Let's never again say that we have to raise tuition because tuition in other states is higher than ours. We don't raise taxes when other states have taxes higher than ours, and we shouldn't raise tuition when tuition is higher in other states than ours.
Scott's speech also focused on the state's history, including Dr. John Gorey's work in the 1800s that led to air conditioning, the founding of Publix during the Great Depression, and the opening of Walt Disney World in 1971. Israel's prime minister didn't mince words about U.S.-led nuclear talks with Iran. He attacked the potential deal during a speech to a joint meeting with Congress. As Craig Boswell tells us, the White House reacted strongly to his message.
Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu sharply criticized U.S.-led negotiations to stop Iran from obtaining nuclear weapons.
It doesn't block Iran's path to the bomb. It paves Iran's path to the bomb.
The Israeli leader says the only alternative is a better deal.
A better deal that doesn't leave Iran with a vast nuclear infrastructure and such a short breakout time. A better deal that keeps the restrictions on Iran's nuclear program in place until Iran's aggression ends.
President Obama did not watch the speech, but said he read the transcript.
The Prime Minister didn't offer any viable alternatives.
President Obama says Congress should continue to show support for Israel and wait until there's actually a deal on the table before evaluating what's in it.
House Speaker John Boehner invited Netanyahu to speak just 2 weeks before elections in Israel and without consulting the White House or Democrats. Some of them labeled it a stunt.
Indeed, it was political theater, worthy of an Oscar.
Republicans had a different take.
I wish that the Obama administration and the White House was critical of our enemies as they are of our friends, such as Bibi Netanyahu.
Secretary of State John Kerry is in Switzerland now negotiating with the Iranian delegation. Craig Boswell, CBS News, Capitol Hill.
The deadline to reach an agreement is the end of the month. Last week, the Obama administration proposed a ban on bullets used in AR-15 semi-automatic rifles. The AR-15 is the most popular rifle in America. Now the Bureau of Alcohol, Tobacco, Firearms, and Explosives wants to classify the bullets as armor-piercing rounds. That would make them illegal to buy, make, or sell. ATF says it's a move that would better protect police because some new handguns can fire the same ammo. Nearly 200 members of Congress have asked the agency to reconsider.
This is something that's been around for 30 years. Why the perversion now? We believe it's just a last-minute attempt by this administration to take a swipe at the Second Amendment.
The ammo is currently considered for sport shooting. Next month, the traffic signal at the intersection of Commerce Street and East Town Avenue in downtown Geneva will be taken down. Today, a detour sign was placed on Commerce Street advising drivers that the light will be placed in flash mode next Tuesday. City officials plan to remove the light and replace it with a four-way stop. It's part of a sidewalk rehab project.
Change in the light. With our new sidewalk project, we're going to clean up some of the existing poles and things downtown, and that intersection will become a four-way stop.
Several years ago, OPP officials removed traffic signals and replaced them with stop signs as part of a downtown facelift. The Cowards Post Office is temporarily closed after a car crashed into it this morning. Fortunately, nobody was injured in the crash, but the building was damaged and is being inspected. Folks can pick up the post office box mail and packages at the Ashford Post Office. Mail delivery is not being impacted. A Jackson County man was killed in an ATV accident early this morning. It happened around 4:30 on State Road 69 south of Northside Church Road. Florida Highway Patrol says visibility in the area was reduced because of fog. 73-year-old Charles Croft of Greenwood was riding an ATV on the side of the road when a truck hit him. Croft was pronounced dead at the scene. According to a new government report, crashes are on the leading cause of on-the-job deaths for truck drivers. In 2012, 700 truck drivers died in crashes. The report also revealed more than a third of victims were not wearing a seatbelt. Experts say seatbelts could have prevented an estimated 40% of those deaths. A Muslim advocacy group in Britain has released new audio tapes of the ISIS terrorist known as Jihadi John. Tina Kraus has details.
And your people.
ISIS executioner Mohammed Mwazi, nicknamed Jihadi John, says British intelligence agents were out to get him. In a 2009 audio tape, Mwazi describes a conversation he says he had with an anti-terror officer.
What do you think of the war in Afghanistan? I said, well, what do I think? You know, we see the news, innocent people are getting killed. And he started telling me, what do you think of 9/11? I told him, this is a wrong thing. What happened was wrong.
A Muslim support center in London that knew Mwazi released the recordings.
The Mohammed that I knew was extremely kind.
The group's director blames British security agents for harassing Mwazi and suggests pressure may have pushed the young Brit toward extremist views. Mwazi rejects terrorism on the tape, but says MI5 agents would not listen.
And then so after all of this, he come back and he looked at me and he said, I still believe that you're going to Somalia to train.
Mwazi eventually made it to Syria, joined ISIS, and is believed to have beheaded American, British, and Japanese captives. Tina Kraus, CBS News.
London's mayor says the suggestion that Mwazi was radicalized because of the way British security services threatened him is, quote, ridiculous. A jury has been seated in the trial of Boston Marathon bombing suspect Dzhokhar Tsarnaev. More than 250 potential jurors were questioned over 2 months. Also during jury selection, the defense requested a change of venue 4 times. Tsarnaev faces 30 charges in the case. 3 people were killed and more than 250 injured in the 2013 attack. If convicted, the trial will move to a second phase where they would determine if Tsarnaev should spend life in prison or be put to death. Opening statements are set to begin tomorrow. Well, what a warm, beautiful day we had out there, but will these amazing temperatures stay for a while? Let's go to Nate now to find out that answer. Nate?
Unfortunately, it looks like we've got some changes coming pretty shortly, but in the meantime, if you like the spring-like weather, you will enjoy the next several days. Tonight will be very mild once again. With more moisture in the air, expect more fog to develop. Temperatures dropping through the 60s during the evening time and overnight period. By midnight, we'll be in the low and middle 60s. And with the weather like it is right now, the pollen forecast, it's on the medium to high scale for both Wednesday and Thursday. But a cold front will come through and do a few things. One, wipe away a lot of that pollen in the air with some showers and also cool us down, too. We'll have details on that in the extended forecast coming up in just a few minutes. Natasha.
All right, thanks so much, Nate. Well, Ashford's top cop is retiring. Jim Stanley informed city officials of his decision at Monday night's council meeting. Stanley began his law enforcement career with the Dothan Police Department in 1972. He served as Ashford's police chief for the past 6 years. Stanley's last day on the job will be March 25th, but his retirement won't become official until April the 15th. The Dothan Miracle League kicks off its season this weekend. Opening day is next Saturday, and they're still looking for volunteers or buddies. Buddies must be at least 12 years old or in the 6th grade. Games are on Monday and Thursday nights and Saturdays during the day. Organizers say the volunteers get back as much as they give.
That's what the Miracle League does. It gives these athletes an opportunity to play baseball. They may go about it a little different. They may handle it a little differently, but they're going to play. And at the end of the day, they're going to round the bases. They're going to hit the home runs. They're going to cheer. They're going to shout. They're going to have a good time. But the coolest thing is watching one team cheer for the other team.
If you'd like to get involved, you can visit the Dothan Miracle League's website. We've provided a link on WTVY.com. The Better Business Bureau has released its list of top consumer complaints. Find out what made the list after the break. Plus, a popular car maker recalls thousands of cars. We'll